The answer is yes. This is a viable replacement for traditional internet service providers. However, there are a few caveats there, and if you'd like to know more, I encourage you to stick around for a moment. My name's Will. I make pretty random content, it looks like. Sometimes gaming, sometimes music, occasionally it's DIY, and it looks like now it's tech. So a bit of a backstory. I have Comcast, and I've had it for a while. The city I live in, you really only have two options, Comcast and Fios. Unfortunately, due to a paperwork error relating to how my home is classified by the city, Verizon is unable to secure the necessary permits to run lines to this building, or I'd probably have Fios right now. This is not an exaggeration. I can stick my hand out my front window and touch a Fios line that is physically attached to my building, but it runs to the next house over. It's kind of absurd, right? Well, with no other options, I had to get Comcast. Their service is fine, and I have pretty much no complaints, except for one. After all my promos ended, my bills skyrocketed from $90 a month to $195 a month for the same service. No changes. Suddenly, I'm paying more than $100 more. I figured I'd check and see what options I have. Well, that brings us to now. T-Mobile in-home 5G internet service was available in my area. I have a 5G enabled phone, so I walked over to my window, opened speed test, and to my surprise, I was pulling over 400 down and pushing close to 100 up. That was enough to convince me, so I called T-Mobile up, and 2 days later, I had the modem in hand. The specific model they shipped me was the ARC KVD21, which is an important detail to remember in this case, as their previous models had some fairly significant design flaws that they addressed with this version. I've also seen it reported as being a good bit faster, but having not gone hands-on with the other one, can't confirm or deny that. Setup was simple enough. I swapped out my Comcast modem, hooked it up directly to my network switches, and rebooted everything once. I was online. On the day I got everything set up, it was a sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. I pulled 386 down and 116 up. This was consistent across the other speed test services I checked, fast.com, OpenSpeedTest. Though one thing to note, the other sites did show me the fairly significant boost speeds this thing was capable of. It boosted up to around 450 down before it normalized at 380 to 400 down every time. Now yes, this is a far cry from the 1100 down that I get from Comcast, but realistically, I never actually saturate my network. Not with anything that I'm doing at home anyway. And 400 down would be well over what I actually need. If it remained consistent, that is. And that brings us to the first caveat. Service consistency. While I live in an ultra coverage zone, there's one thing that you can't actually really count on, and that's the weather. The weekend I got this service, we had a range of nasty heavy rain, light rain, and overcast weather, during which the entire time my internet speeds dropped to around 130 to 150 down and upload to around 60. Now these speeds are very respectable, but I absolutely did reach the limits of what was possible with this connection with my speeds cut in half. It would take video streaming apps like Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and YouTube sometimes up to a minute to load videos that would previously start immediately. And in the case of 4K HDR content on Disney Plus and Amazon, there was a ton of stop and start behavior observed. All of this returned to normal as soon as the weather cleared up though. But I figured I'd give it some more time. Maybe I can work around these issues. I decided to try streaming. Now, if you've been watching this video, you'll probably have noticed the Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay running in the background. All of this footage you've seen thus far was streamed directly to YouTube at 1440p 60 FPS with a 50,000 kbps bitrate. Not bad, right? Well, here comes caveat number 2. Heavy bandwidth uploads will choke the connection. There are no data limits and no throttling either. But there does appear to be a limit on what you can push on this thing, and I think I found it. This footage that you're seeing now was specifically at the end of the stream, and you'll notice that the frame rate tanks. Viewers were seeing constant buffering, and to its credit, it did get all the footage out, but it wasn't until later when I could actually view the VOD that I even was able to see that footage. So I said, alright, 1440p 60 might be a little too much, so I dropped it to 1080p 60 and I lowered the bitrate to 10K. This worked great. The footage you're seeing now from Overwatch was all streamed live, and not only did the stream hold up, my ping wasn't heavily impacted either. If you're curious what my ping was while not streaming, here you go. And then as a final test, I decided to head over to Twitch and do one last stream, and not surprisingly, it did a fantastic job. This footage that you're seeing was streamed at 1080p 60 at 8000 kbps, though it rarely hit that due to Twitch's limits, so I was hovering somewhere around 7400. All in all, it's a very impressive service given that this kind of thing is kinda in its infancy. So to wrap things up here, I'll just say this. If you aren't someone who is a heavy data user, can work within the limitations of what this service has, then I can easily recommend this service to you. At $50 a month, even with its shortcomings, it's really hard to be mad at what T-Mobile is bringing to the table. As for me, well, I'll be sticking with Comcast for now, but I'll be checking back in on T-Mobile's offerings from time to time to see how they improve the service. If you have any questions or thoughts, let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear from folks who have the service as well. But if you like the video, drop a like on it, maybe consider subscribing for more content. I'm also frequently live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/backingtrackmusic, and if you'd like to chat on Discord, you can find me at discord.gg/epostbox. All my other links can be found in the description below. Once again, my name's Will, you've been rad, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.